In a shocking revelation, Elizabeth Banks figures out that hating on your target demographic will result in said demographic not watching your movie. Whoa! So she has some regrets, as you can imagine. Let's go ahead and just dive into the video because there's a lot to cover here. All right, so Elizabeth Banks reveals Charlie's Angels regret. There was a disconnect on the marketing side of it for me, she says. Director Elizabeth Banks has revealed she regrets how Charlie's Angels was marketed, citing a disconnect in the film's promotion. In a wide-ranging interview with the New York Times, which touched on both her acting and directing work, Banks lamented the marketing of her 2019 reboot of the classic series. Referencing the misconception towards the film, Banks said it was very stressful, partly because when women do things in Hollywood, it becomes this story. So, of course, you can't just admit the fault here. You can't admit what's wrong here without playing victim. It's just like, girl, you almost get it. It's like you slightly get it, but you have to preface with, well, it's stressful because when women do things in Hollywood, it becomes this story, as if the roles were reversed, that it wouldn't become an even bigger story if male directors were saying the same thing about women that you, a female director, said about men. Let's not play here, okay? If anything, honey, being a woman is giving you a lot more of a free pass in Hollywood, okay? It's meant there's some armor with that. Be self-aware. Okay, I'm self-aware enough to know that I can get away with saying a lot more than men can, and when it comes to especially the entertainment industry, the gaming industry, all that stuff. Why do you think I freaking do it? Why do you think I feel a lot more brave doing this than some dudes do? Because even though I still get backlash, I ain't gonna get near the same amount of backlash as a dude, especially a white dude. Oh no! So, yeah, let's just have some self-awareness here, honey, okay? It'll take you far in life. There was a story around Charlie's Angels that I was creating some feminist manifesto, but I was just making an action movie. I would have liked to have made a Mission Impossible movie, but women aren't directing Mission Impossible. I was able to direct an action movie, frankly, because it starred women, and I'm a female director. And that is the confine right now in Hollywood. Okay, now, it's like you almost have a point there, but try to reverse that, because why are men being shamed when they create female characters in video games, comics, or portray women in movies? There's always this backlash associated with that. Like, oh, a man doesn't know a woman's experience. How can he direct a movie or this, that, and the other? Because they think that only people can only relate and only see other human beings as human beings if they are just like you, which is, absurd. That said, if you just really break this down, the reason why there are more male directors tied to action movies is because action movies are being carried by men. That's who supports the genre. Now, obviously, there's a lot of us women who still enjoy action movies and love action movies, but there's a ton of women who don't. And there's a reason why when you're hiring someone in this kind of situation and you're like, okay, let's find a director for the next Mission Impossible movie, and you're going to have a bunch of people like who really want that opportunity, the probability says that when you've got more men interested in the action genre, that means more men are going to be interested in directing a movie like this than women, okay? As a result, simple probability tells us that if someone is hiring someone based on talent and based on ability, because there are more male applicants, then probability says that it's probably going to be a male who directs it. But that's not always the case. Look at this. here's some movies, action movies directed by women. Punisher. I mean, dude, Punisher of all things, you definitely wouldn't picture a woman directing, but it happened. The Peacemaker, okay? Charlie's Angels, yeah, like we just covered. Strange Days. Point Break. Blue Steel. Birds of Prey, which again, still, you know, and I like this movie. I ain't even gonna lie. I like this movie, but it did make a lot of the same mistakes and errors in knocking its target demographic, which is why, one reason why it did not perform well. Another reason is that objectively, it's not a masterpiece of a movie. You know, I thought it was a fun movie, all things considered, but but it doesn't make it a good movie just because, you know, it's fun. All right, The Old Guard. This was actually not bad. It wasn't perfect for me, but it wasn't bad. I would give it like a solid 7. Wonder Woman, amazing movie, good movie. Not perfect. I still had some issues with it, but still great movie, and it was a massive success. Men supported it because guess what? This movie wasn't bashing men at every corner. This movie was just a fun movie. A good movie that focused on its story, and we weren't being shoehorned with a feminist message behind it or anything like that. At least it's not what I got from it. And then right here we have The Hurt Locker. This is a very like male demographic type movie. Okay, all right. So let's just try to look at the big picture here, girl, and see that, you know, this isn't an issue where you need to play victim on. And trust me, nobody likes when people play victim. Nobody likes it. So you're really not helping yourself in this situation. Banks, who also directed Pitch Perfect 2, continued further bemoaning the way in which the film was marketed solely for a female audience. See, and here's the thing, and she's dodging every ounce of accountability that she can. She's not reflecting and saying, how could I have made this movie better? What could I have done to make this movie better so that more people would have watched it? Instead, she's putting the blame on everybody else. Okay? Don't tell me, girl, that, oh, this wasn't a feminist movie. You can just look at their outfits. Look how they're styled. Don't even try to tell me that this didn't have some, like, this wasn't heavily injected with wokeism, okay? We're not dumb. We weren't born yesterday. Don't tell me this didn't have some, like, feminist intentions behind it. I mean, come on. When you think of Charlie's Angels, all right? Charlie's Angels. Let's, like, try to look at some, like, older Charlie's Angels stuff. Dude, even like, okay, we're looking at the original here. Hopefully there's no safe search. I'm not getting demonetized today. So look at, you know, if you're looking at like the original cast here up top, you know, these are gorgeous women who are dressed femininely. Even the woman in the middle still has like some tomboy flair, but she's still feminine, beautiful, and portrayed that way. So you look at the original cast and let's look at like the 90s cast. I mean, babes, right? Am I right? Just like gorgeous. All right, so let's unpack it why people watched Charlie's Angels. I consider this, even across the board, men and women alike who enjoy Charlie's Angels like watching it because it's fun to see these gorgeous women kicking butt in just clearly it's not intended to be realistic. It's not intended to be grounded. It's not intended to reflect the real world as they are throwing in our faces right now. This is meant to be a fun experience, and part of the fun is, okay, gorgeous women kicking butt. Women like it, men like it, regardless of your sexual orientation. This is, when you think about like the older Charlie's Angels, straight men liked it, gay men like it, the women liked it, like straight women, lesbian women, like it just doesn't matter. Who doesn't like to see attractive people kicking butt regardless of their gender? I mean, even that's why most even male action-led movies have attractive lead. People, newsflash, like to watch attractive people. So in this case, obviously these women are beautiful women, but look how she styled them. She just, what is even going on here? The Hawaiian shirt, it's just, this is her thought, from what it seems, is that she was so focused on, objectifying, which is everybody's argument when it comes to these female leads who are bombshells. They want to act like, objectification. Like, people can't see past that. Like, people can't admire a character who is attractive. Like, that's the only thing they're going to see. And so they take these girls and try to drab them up more. They try to, they try to make them less appealing to the male gaze. But the reality of it is, most likely, if a character is designed to appeal to the male gaze, then females are also going to think said character is attractive. Look at Lara Croft, okay? Every Halloween, and it's almost Halloween now, guess what? 95% or more of the costumes of women dressing up as Lara Croft are going to pick the hot, sexy, classic version, because that's the most fun. And believe it or not, despite Hollywood shoving this, we need to adapt to the real world, reflect the real world, most people don't want that in their entertainment, with some exceptions. But most people like to have entertainment as an escape. And so this argument just falls flat. It's not taking accountability because let's face it, no matter how terrible and abysmal the marketing was that was hating on men and all that, if the movie were actually really, really good, it would have performed well. I had no desire to watch this movie, and I'm a woman, okay? Well, in the US, which, is the main target demographic here in this situation, you got more females than males. There are plenty enough women who could have made this a success, but it wasn't, because it probably sucked. I didn't watch it, so I can't for certain say, but I can just say it looked atrocious, and I was not going to waste my time with it. So, yeah, that's it for today's video. A little bit of accountability goes a long way, and she could honestly redeem herself if she did take some accountability for her part in why Charlie's Angels flopped. But this is where we're at, so yeah. But hey, at least we are seeing some sort of acknowledgement of, maybe let's not be sexist. Maybe let's not hate men or women or anybody. If you should care for moral purposes, but since Hollywood doesn't have morals, at the very least, hey, we're showing them, aren't we? We're showing them we're not supporting this stuff. And that's why we got to keep this energy going when all kinds of entertainment is just being flooded with this woke agenda, with trying to preach at the audience, with trying to hate on men, with trying to hate on white people, so on and so forth. So how about we just stop hating on people based on their gender and their race, and we just go back to fun, entertaining things, which, speaking of, I got my ISOM one. Okay, let me find, for those who don't know, ISOM, the Rippaverse. I got it yesterday, and I've already read about half of it, this comic. This is by Eric July. I'm going to I made a video about this if you want more context going on behind that. But yeah, this is showing, and for how successful this was, it's showing everybody, it's showing the world that we don't need We don't need your Marvel and your DC and all that kind of stuff to have entertainment, because now we're seeing more indies rise up and produce even better stuff. So obviously to get that in terms of movies or video games is a lot more difficult. But hey, if we don't support the things that we don't like and the things that are knocking us down, the things that are sexist, racist, that we keep seeing in the name of woke, we got to stop supporting it. And they don't care. They really don't care for the moral side of things, but they will care when they're not making money. So let's stay strong. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.